Hello.
Hello.
So I don't know if anyone here actually needs an introduction to these two holy beings. Has anyone here not been in the presence of these two holy beings? Ah, wow. Very fortunate. We all are. To Lama Roger and Lama Yvonne Jaques. And Lama Yvonne is sometimes known as Padma these days, but I've known her as Lama Yvonne for many, many years, so I'm not quite used to that yet. So, Padma. Lama Yvonne and Lama Roger became my direct teachers many years ago, and have been directly involved in the transformation of my mind, I would say. So they're going to teach us about relationship tonight, maybe, she says, and keeping the bliss, and I think that something that we would all probably like to know about. And having just come out of a long, deep 3-year retreat, and also been in relationship themselves for, was it 17 years before the Dharma?
Since 1991.
Since 1991. So I think they have some things to say about relationship. So thank you for coming and welcome. So I just want to make sure that you have sound. And I'm just going to move this around so that, here, I can...
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sort of giving
This is very adjustable.
Yeah. This would be better. No, this is
This is very adjustable. Yeah. Just want it to be where you want it.
What's that for? Huh? Oh, for leaning on? For my leg? Maybe this is good.
So does that seem like it's a good spot for the mic right now?
I suppose so.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't want to like...
You don't want to do that. Yeah, so anyway, that's
good for my eyes, but probably not good.
We turned it down a bit.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Hello. Hello. Wow, lots of new faces. Cool. Speaking to the mic. My mother named me Yvonne, and one of my teachers named me Padma, so you can call me whatever you like. It doesn't matter to me at all. We're here because we're very, very interested in keeping the bliss. That's why we're here. I don't know about you guys. But being up here ensures for us, from our side, it ensures that we actually get to keep the bliss. So you're not going to learn how to keep the bliss by sitting in here and listening to us, actually. Actually, that's not how you will get to keep the bliss. But you will get to keep the bliss if you try some of the stuff that we've been through, and if it works for you, and then you tell somebody else about it, then you'll get to keep the bliss. That's the moment that you will also get to keep the bliss. So we don't really have anything to say about how to keep the bliss other than to tell you that we are just here to keep the bliss. And that will become clearer, I think, as the episodes go by. I think Roger wants to start with a meditation. No? I'm good.
I think it's a really, somebody just said to me a few minutes ago, this is a really important topic for me, and maybe for everybody, or for a lot of people, it's extremely relevant to talk about partnerships. So I personally feel that, one of the only reasons that I can sit up here and talk about it is because, Yvonne and I have been in a long relationship and definitely had our ups and downs, and like everybody else, we've had our high points and our low points, and so, we've been we're bumbling along with that, and then we hit the long retreat, and we bumbled some more, and things, we hit a couple of pretty big speed bumps in the retreat, and it was a really unbelievable way to ripen karma for us and to accelerate what we had learned and what we were learning, and to look at our mistakes and so forth in a very candid way. Retreat does that, and it sort of strips everything away, and you get to face the real you, or you think is the real you, and all these different things that happen to you and with your partner and so forth. And so it's a really heightened environment, an accelerated environment in which to practice with your partner. I guess you could put it like that. It's a very intense, condensed, high octane environment, and in that sense, I feel comfortable to sit up here and talk about partner practice a little bit, because we went through that. It feels, like maybe if there's something that we share that resonates with you, that makes sense, or that is useful, then I think that that's the goal of whatever we do tonight. If there's something that you can hang on to, that's all really. That's all we can do. And
plus our teacher asked us to.
One of our teachers asked us to teach partner series, and so we're very honoured to do that and to fulfill that for them. It's a very old practice. It extends back for millennia, really, and it's deeply imbued in most of the religious portals, and so to make it sort of accessible and to bring it out of esoteric and into real life is another one of our goals. How can it be applicable to us in our everyday lives, right? And how can we use it, and can it be useful to us? And what is the real purpose of it, and what's the point of keeping the bliss anyway? So those are the kinds of things that we just want to go over a little bit tonight. So we thought that we would just start with a very brief, basically more like a visualization than a meditation. So if you could just be with us here now for literally a few minutes, and we'll just lead you through a very short little visualization. So just be comfortable where you are. And I think, one of the most important things about meditation is just to really have good posture. So try to align your back so that it's perfectly straight, and that you don't even have any little, what I call micro slumps in it, where it's just giving way somewhere. Just get it nice and straight, and relax your shoulders, and hands just resting on your lap or on your knees. And tongue is resting lightly on the roof of your mouth. And then just a quick scan through your body. Do you have any areas of tension? anything that's you're sort of holding. Just be aware of that and try to release that with your mind. Let the day fall away. And the busyness, let it all just slip away. And now see yourself as this perfect outline of light. Now you don't have a gross physical body so much anymore. And you're sort of a diamond light on the outside, and inside you're just hollow. You're just spacious. You can even put some like blue sky inside of you now, if you like. So you're just this beautiful empty shell. A feeling of availability, spaciousness, open. And bring your mind to your Ajna chakra, or what's sometimes called the third eye, at the midpoint in between your eyebrows, back in maybe about perhaps an inch or so inside. Try to be aware of any tension that you might have as you bring your mind to that point. Make sure that you're not furrowing your brow. Just nice, relaxed in the face. And then we're just going to do a simple breathing exercise now. So this is called Amaloma Vimala, and basically what it is we're going to inhale breath up through the left nostril, and it's going to come up and strike the Ajna chakra. It's like the apex of a triangle with the Ajna at the apex. And then you're going to exhale from the Ajna down out through the right side nostril. So you can do that now. Just very gently, even if you're just thinking about inhaling, directing the prana up through the left, strikes the Ajna chakra with a sort of a light. Exhaling out through the right. Now inhaling up through the right. Light strikes the Ajna chakra. Exhaling down through the left side nostril. Inhaling up through the left. Exhaling down through the right. Inhaling up through the right. Exhaling down through the left. One more round. Inhaling up through the left. Light strikes the Ajna. Exhaling down through the right. Inhaling up through the right. To Ajna. Exhaling down through the left. And now we'll switch it up a little bit. We'll inhale through both nostrils simultaneously, and light will strike the Ajna. So go ahead and do that. And then we'll exhale out through both nostrils from the Ajna, straight out and down again. Again, inhaling up. And exhaling out through both nostrils. One more time. And then you can just relax and see if you can feel any movement of energy in that area? Have you woken up your ajna a little bit? How is it feeling? Maybe you have like a little heat or perhaps even a pulsing sensation, something like that. Or even just, I would say even just an awareness. And then you can just relax and slowly open your eyes. So, it's when you talk about partner practice and you do partner practice and all of its many manifestations and forms that takes, it's really good to have discrimination. And awakening the Ajna chakra directly has an influence on your powers of discrimination. And so that becomes very useful, so that you know what to take up and what to give up. And you have hopefully a little bit of ability to discern, you know, what is the right thing to do at the right time, right? And that's important when you work with your partner. So it's recommended to do a lot of Ajna practices. That was just a little taste of one of them, and especially in the Indian side of the lineage, which we did a lot of in retreat, so that you can really wake that up and hopefully have that ability to discriminate. So that's a little snapshot of Amalama Vimala. Amalama Vimala. Anuloma Vimala. Pardon.
I don't know what it is now.
Anuloma
Anuloma Viloma.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't speak so well anymore as we used to.
Oh, do we need a whiteboard, right?
Yeah, we need a whiteboard.
Do we have a whiteboard? That would be wonderful.
Anuloma Viloma. So actually, Anuloma Viloma is homework for those of you who are here. And because it's very, very important, as Roger just said, we don't call him Lama Raja unless you are a direct student of his. But it's very important to do this practice of developing an awareness of your Ajna chakra, because it, as Roger said, it's very instrumental in being able to exercise discriminating wisdom. And this particular series that we've been asked to share with you, Keeping the Bliss, has roots in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, the yogic science lineage of India. And in the yogic science lineage of India, all of these practices are based on the subtle body, on the inner body. And we're going to do this. We're going to make our way through the chakra system in quite a lot of detail and intensity. And before we start with the lower chakras, we need to develop a high awareness of discriminating wisdom. So the first thing that we need to do is to be able to exercise this discriminating wisdom. And when you do that kind of Ajna practice, and when you do breath, when you do pranayamas and breathing exercises to try to develop the Ajna chakra, and when Roger says inhale light towards the Ajna chakra, see if you can, as though actually the Ajna chakra that's sucking in the light, sucking in the ray of light, and then exhaling it back out and then sucking it in, so that it pinpoints the chakra a little bit more specifically. And so, you know, as we move through the episodes, this will become apparent why this is important. Okay? So, does everybody have a handout, or are there not enough? Or what? Who doesn't have Oh, okay. Okay. So, I can read that. And here's my whiteboard. Understand. Let's read the scriptural verse first. Understand. It comes from the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, the book on the union of sun and moon. And it says, "Stay then more deep than deep, at the very core of truth, in the middle of the sun and moon. When you remain there, in that blessed point of empty space, you have reached what we call the dancer in the sky. A stream of crystal moonlight begins to flow, wife of the man of peace, and he embraces her. She fills the sun ray channel, the opening along the spine, with matchless divine nectar." This verse is talking about Sushumna and bringing the prana into Sushumna and applying what's called Kachari Mudra, which induces the Amrit to flow down from the crown of the head. And this is it's a very advanced practice, and these scriptures we took directly from the teachings of our teachers. Our commentary is kind of like a little different, but the scriptures just are the scriptures from the original Spiritual Partners series. And it's a very interesting verse to start with. It's a very, very sexy verse, and it's a very advanced practice, a verse from the advanced practice in Hatha Yoga Pradipika.
20 hours.
Huh? What? What was that? Can I ignore it? So, understand why we're attracted. Understand why we're attracted is the first principle that we want to talk about. So, Roger and I met 23 years ago? 23 years ago in the, what was it?
Longhorn.
The Longhorn Pub. The Longhorn Pub at Whistler. And this pub, to this day, is owned by Dee Dee's sister and brother-in-law. This is a very interesting thing. How does that work? We didn't know her till quite a few years later, like about 15 years later, maybe. So we met at the Longhorn Pub. We were ski bums, and we were drinking in the pub, and that's where we met. And we were instantly attracted to one another. And since then, we've broken up 3 times. And, you can see that we're together right now. And in the meantime, we did this long retreat, which is really, it's a very, it really rakes you over the coals of a lot of different things, including the relationship. It really, really rakes you over the coals. And you're always at the coalface in a retreat. And the reason that you're always at the coalface in a retreat is because there's nobody there. There's nothing going on. And our favorite flavor of samsara, right? If you had to say which is a really, really prominent flavor of samsara, what's a really prominent flavor of samsara that just about everybody probably of us, everybody can relate to? You'd have to say it's the one that goes, how could they do this to me? How could this happen to me? That's a really prominent flavor. Lots of us have that one for a favorite, right? I do anyway. So, in retreat, see, there's no one there, right? And then, even though both of us were there, we spent about 6 or 8 months doing solo retreat. So actually, during the really intense part of the retreat, nobody was there. I was completely by myself. Roger was completely by himself. And you keep on getting raked over the coals, and it's like, how can they do this to me? Well, who exactly is doing what to you, And this keeps like happening again and again and again. I can't like this. Until you finally have to think, well, what's going on here? What's going on here? So it was kind of an express way to try to get to the bottom of it, right? And I remember for about 2 months in the middle of the retreat, I thought, oh well, I'm gonna have to trash them when we're done. You know, I won't leave now. It's just like weird, right? Who's gonna like, I don't know, what if something happens? But at the end of the retreat, that's it, I'm out. No, really, I spent about 2 months on that tack, you know, and then all kinds of different tacks like that, different flavors of that theme. But so then I started to realize that I started to say to myself, try to understand what's at the bottom of this. Like, what am I hoping to achieve exactly, right? Why? What do I want? What do I want? And why is this particular method going to get it for me? You see? And, you know, I had to say to myself, well, what do I want, you know? He wasn't like even around to be bugging me in any way. You know, he had done so in the past 20 years, of course. Lots of times. You know, I had lots and lots of ammunition and stuff like that. But in that time, by myself, as I looked at this, and I thought, what do you want? Like, what do you really want? And when I became very clear about what it was I wanted, it also became very clear to me that trashing him before, during, after the retreat wasn't necessarily going to get it for me, what I wanted. So I had to understand how it was that I was going to get all my wins into the central channel, which is really the only way that you can truly understand how to get what you want. And so I devoted a lot of intense practice to this question, what do I want? And how do I suppose I'm going to get it? And as you know, we were doing lots and lots of Hatha Yoga Pradipika practice, which is designed to get the Sushumna filled up with prana and to eliminate the two side channels, which is really the only way to understand what you want. I'll say it again and again and again, okay? Because it's really important to understand this concept. So I devoted a lot of intense practice to bringing my prana into the central channel. And, you know, while I was hashing out the shit list, you know. You might have to censor the audio. So, you know, I had the shit list and then I had the good list, right? And you really have to stay focused on the good list, right, in life. If you hope to achieve any kind of bliss, you have to try to stay away from making shit lists. I can tell you that much for sure. And I came to understand a little bit more clearly that every other method I'd ever used to try to get what I want in a relationship actually hadn't worked, and that it was just, you know, the same old beep on a different day, you know, with a different guy, really, is what it was. And it was going to continue to look that way. That became really clear to me. So trashing him at the end of the retreat would probably simply succeed in having a very, very disconnected, dysfunctional end to the retreat, and then wouldn't get me any closer to what it is that I wanted. And I think I'm going to say what I think I want, okay? I'm going to say what I think I want. Because meanwhile, as you do other practices to get your prana into the correct area of the central channel, that question in your mind, what do I really want, also undergoes some great, great shifts, some major, major shifts. And it's kind of like what's on the Three Jewels homepage. Just a second, okay? I wrote it down. It says, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself you have built against love. So, and as you do, as you search for love and as you search to keep bliss in your own relationship, and as you try different things, it becomes very clear that the more you take action towards making yourself happy, the less you are happy. And the more action you take towards making others happy, the happier you are. So does that mean that I'm supposed to stay with somebody who's hurting me? Maybe physically or emotionally. Somebody who's torturing me or just appears to be doing things that are extremely hurtful. Am I supposed to hang out and just try to make them happy? How shall I answer that question? Let me answer it simply, first of all. The simple answer is no, you shouldn't. You should not stay in a hurtful situation where you are really suffering, emotionally, physically. You should not. You should remove yourself from that situation. You should work to create the karma, not to have that kind of stuff happen to you, of course. But you have to remove yourself from that situation if you're in pain, suffering like that. That's the simple answer, okay? The not so simple answer is that the real question is not, what do I do? Do I stay? Do I go, right? That's, a diamond deal. You probably know what a diamond deal is. The real question is, how do I create the karma to not experience that as pain? So that whatever is going on, it's not appearing that way to me. I'm not affected by it. Perhaps somebody is beating me. Perhaps somebody is gouging out my eyeballs. Perhaps somebody is deceiving me, lying to me, having, major multiple affairs behind my back. Maybe these things are going on, but my concern is for the perpetrator of the crime. Now, those are two very different questions. The first one is very simple, the second one is not. But I give it to you anyway, because it's where we're all going, right? Because until you understand that the question is, what do you do for this person who is inflicting this pain on you, which you may not be experiencing as pain? And the only pain you're experiencing is the fact that they're also inflicting a lot of pain on themselves by doing things like that. So when your concern can shift to the perpetrator, this is the key to happiness. Not just with that person, but with all people, with all beings, So, it's really important to understand why things are appearing the way that they are, in our lives, in our partners and stuff like that. And we're going to be going there a lot in the upcoming episodes of this show. But for now, the important thing to understand is that we're attracted to a partner, doesn't matter, same sex, opposite sex, multiple sexes, doesn't matter. We're attracted because we have this very deep desire to be happy, right? To get out of pain and be happy, right? And there's some kind of magical thing, isn't there? Some kind of magical ingredient in like a partner. The attraction of a partner is really, really strong, right? It's really strong. The attraction of sex and the attraction of food are the strongest two attractions that we have. You don't want to get between an animal and its kill, You don't want to get between a man and his orgasm, You don't. These are these kinds of things are so hardwired in us that they're very powerful. They're very powerful urges, and we need to understand them and what they are in order to be able to exercise our discriminating wisdom and use them in a way which allows us to see people who appear to inflict pain on us as people who need our love, What can I do for you? What can I do for you? Right? There's a lot of understanding that has to go on somewhere in there. And this desire to be whole with someone, is so deep, and it's triggered by it. It's always triggered by a chemistry which we know as sexual desire. We know that kind of rush, that chemistry as sexual desire. That's what we call it, right? Notice that in the first few months of a relationship, right, that rush is always accompanied by, what can I do for this person? What do they like? What kind of food do they like, Would they like to do this particular thing or go to that place? How can I please them? What can I do for them? And usually it goes on for about 4 or 5 or 6 months, or sometimes it's a couple of years. But generally, always, it kind of goes, Is that thing you do all the time? It peters out usually, right? Anybody in here say not? Anybody in here say no, it doesn't peter out? I bet there are 1 or 2 in here who would debate me on that. Anybody want to debate me? Wow, okay. So it peters out. And generally, the time that it peters out is around the time that you start saying, what about me? Well, what about me? And I, right? It's usually right around that time. So there's no accident there, There's no accident there at all. So that's kind of a cool thing to remember, something about that time of great chemistry, something about that time of huge rush, that, what kind of thoughts were accompanying those feelings, What kind of thoughts? See, when you're having those kinds of feelings, those kinds of rushes, what's going on is that you've got prana going into the central channel quite a lot. It's going on. So feeling good and feeling blissful and feeling loving and feeling like being there for other people, these kinds of thoughts come when you have prana going into the central channel. That's when they come. And you could also say that those kinds of thoughts cause a lot of prana to go into the central channel. So you can see that, we could be working at this from 2 angles, right? At least. We could be working at this from those 2 angles. So it's good to understand that. It's good to understand that we're attracted to this thing, to this kind of practice, because it makes us feel blissful, because it makes us feel whole, because it makes us feel complete, because it makes us feel completely there, available, not needy. No, not needy. We don't need anything, right? You don't need anything when you're feeling like that. all you want to do is give. Isn't it true? It's all you want to do. There's no concern. And in fact, there's no problem. Like, you don't sleep all night. There's no problem. You know what I mean? There's no food left. There's no problem. Isn't it true? It's some kind of intense pranic feed that you get. Right? So that's understand. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, Shelby. Flash.
So, by the way, this, when we talk about this whole partner thing, that we're simply talking about energy, okay? You can call it male, masculine, and feminine, and so forth, and so it doesn't really, it's not limited like that. So, if you happen to be a male and you're attracted to another male, that's okay. That's not, it doesn't preclude you from somehow doing this partner practice. Do you see what I mean? It's completely about energy flows within people, and having a sense of what is the opposite energy that this person has that I maybe am a little bit short on. So the way that our teachers describe it is, if you're a female, you have a prevalence of female energy because you're born as a female, and so you're attracted to more male energy, but it might be with another female partner. Do you see what I mean? So there isn't anything that's precluded here. Okay, so we should be clear about that. And basically, again, a partner practice can also be done, a lot of ordained people do it basically with themselves, and a sort of an imaginary partner is used. And that's a perfectly valid way to do a partner practice as well. We're not so much talking about that right now, but you should know, again, because we have male and female energy replete within each of us, that you can also work that from the inside as well, just by yourself, basically. And that's a perfectly beautiful and valid practice as well. But we're not really touching on that too much. So, understanding, I also just wanted to sort of, one point that really stuck in my mind from Yvonne's dissertation on that is like, I don't know, it's like, I think that we've all seen it a million times played out, not only in our own lives, but in everybody else's lives around us, right? Is this thing where she put her finger on it, where it starts to turn, where it's like, it's all about me, and it's this I'm not getting what I need, you're not giving me what I need to feel good anymore, I need to go and find somebody else who can do that for me. Right? That is the crucial point of misunderstanding right there, and I think that we've all done it. We've all dumped and been dumped, right? To put it bluntly. And it's true, right? And truly at the heart of that, I think, lies that crucial point, You're not making me feel good the way that you used to, or, you're not doing for me what you were at the beginning of the relationship, or something like that. And then we think, the mind turns and it thinks that it can get that somewhere else from someone else or something else, you see. And that's the crucial point of misunderstanding. So and then we keep trying, right? And we do this dumping and getting dumped shtick, and that goes on for years, perhaps decades, perhaps our whole lives. And my personal experience is that those things, those issues and those karmas that you have with that person will simply carry forward into your next relationship. They may be more subtle, they may be slightly have a different flavor, a different rasa, but underlying that, you will take that with you. And if you think that you can get something else from someone else out there, then you will keep on getting dumped and being dumped, and dumping and getting dumped. It's just the way it is. It's just this whole dump thing, And but it's true, and we've all been there. I mean, let's be honest, right? And I've done it so many times, and it doesn't really work. I know that much for sure. We're on to the next part. We're going to read a little sutra here. This is from the Yoga Sutra. So I guess that's top of page 2. And we make a certain mistake in how we think about pairs. It looks to us as though the one who sees the world and the world that we see all come from their own side. So this is basically what they call like subject-object distinction or differentiation or something like that. It's where we think that somehow the subject state of mind is looking at these objects, the world and the contents of the world and all the people in our lives and everything, and thinking that they have some inherent self-nature of their own. Okay? And again, that is the crucial point, not only for the whole talk and discussion about a partnership, but about the whole of our lives, really, isn't it? Because we misunderstand the objects in the world and ourselves. We misunderstand subject and object. We believe that there is some inherency, some self-existent nature to them, and then we go ahead and we act on that, you see. And then, either it's an intense attraction because of our left side channel, or it's an intense anger or aversion from our right side channel. And then those things accrue karmas, which are associated with those thoughts and actions in our minds of intense desire and intense repulsion. And those things keep us spinning in the wheel of samsara, you see. And it's hardwired into every single person who's human, okay? The subject-object distinction is hardwired into every single person. It comes from the heart chakra, is the center, and then it splits off into 4 channels. And then those 4 channels split off again. And at that second junction, exactly there is where you get subject-object distinction, okay? And so you have it replete within you. It's what do you call it? Hardwired into your DNA practically, that you will be forced to see that in your world. So how are we going to get around that? So we wanted to talk about an idea right now called Nagyal from the Tibetan. In the Sanskrit, this is called Nyasa, and this is, you could say it is the imputation of divine elements onto your own body, something like that. It's a very ancient practice. Again, it goes back many thousands of years, and it gets quite detailed. It's a very beautiful, very powerful practice where they use different syllables and mantras and so forth. We're not going to go into that in any great detail tonight, but what we thought we would do is just give you an overview of Nagyal in a general sense, and how does that tie into subject-object discrepancies, and how am I seeing my world correctly or incorrectly, right? So Nagyal from the Tibetan lineage is literally translated as, like, you could say divine pride or something like that. Having a feeling that I am not this normal schmucky Joe, kind of guy or gal, just leading my normal life, getting up every day, going to work, making the money so that I can pay my mortgage, so my rent or whatever, and so that I can just get by, and buy enough food to eat and this and that, that's normal life, you see. That's not the full capacity of a human being. That's not what we're capable of. And so Nagyal is this beautiful idea of pretending and make-believing that we're not that normal person, and that we have some beautiful higher purpose, and that we are a being that can fulfill that higher purpose, you see. There's lots of ways that you can approach Nagyal. Like, you know, you can pretend or that you look like a divine being maybe, and that you dress maybe a little bit differently, something like that. Put on clothes that you wouldn't normally wear. I think that really though, at its heart, Nagyal is more of a feeling than an outward appearance. You know, something like that. So, if I feel that I am not a normal person, and that I'm not fettered by this normal mundane life, and that I'm not, I use the wisdom and the understanding that Larry Vaughan was talking about to understand this whole idea of subjects and objects and how they're clashing, and how they're not really happening, and there isn't any real self-existence to them out there. When I start having thoughts like that in my mind, what happens is the prana, or the winds, that normally are running in the two side channels, start coming out of the side channels, and they start coalescing around a confluence point, which is where they flute into the Sushumna Nadi in lower chakras. And they start playing down there, and there's a sort of an intensity of pranic frequency that begins to happen when you start to re-identify and remap the way that you view and feel about yourself with this Nagyal, with this divine pride. You know, I'm here for a specific purpose, you know, and that, by that virtue alone, so where the thoughts go, the winds must go. This is a Tibetan concept called Lung Sem Jupa Chipa. Lung means wind, Sem means mind, Jupa Chipa means they ride together. Okay? So they must ride together. They're indivisible. So where you put the mind, the wind must follow. Where you put the wind, or the prana, the mind must follow. The two are inextricably intertwined. So when I have thoughts about Nagyal, when I have thoughts about the fact that maybe I am the kind of person that could become somebody who could help many people, okay? Maybe I can lift myself up out of this mundane life and this mundane normalness and become somebody truly extraordinary that could help and serve many people. Wind starts coalescing around the central channel, and perhaps even enters it a little bit, and you get thoughts of wisdom. Okay? When you get thoughts of wisdom, you transcend subject-object duality. Because that wisdom, that prana in the central channel, is running at a different frequency. It's running at a very, very high intensity compared to the wind that's in different other places in the body or in the side channels. So that's a very extraordinary and very beautiful practice, and it's a very powerful way to get over this thing, the one who sees the world and the world we see coming from their own side. You see what I mean? That's how you can do it, so simply and easily. You wake up in the morning, the first thought that you have, you just train your mind. You know, I'm not just normal old me getting out of my bed to go to my normal job to make the normal money to pay the normal lousy bills anymore. I'm not that, okay? I have this potential to be this ultimate being, and actually, oh, that's right, I just forgot, I'm already there. What am I talking about, you know? Duh, I am that being already, you know, and I do have that ultimate love for every living being. And then I begin my day. I step out of bed and I begin my day like that. Okay, that's Nagyal in a very general sense. So that alone, because of Lung Sem Jupa Chipa, because wind and mind are inextricably intertwined, will have very profound effects on your subtle body. If you take that as a serious daily practice, and you try to recall it as much as you can throughout the day. Very simple thoughts, you know, there's nothing complicated about it. then that is the upside possibilities for that are very profound. It's an extraordinary practice. It's been around for many thousands of years, and it certainly has the ability to take you to a different place. Because frankly, all of it is the world. I mean, that is an imputation of mind too. The fact that I'm some kind of angelic being perhaps now, or am I just regular schmuck old me? Both of those two things are what we call projections from our mind, you see. And neither of them has any more or less substance than the other one. Am I just normal old me? Am I some kind of ultimate being? Or could I be some kind of ultimate being? Both of those two ideas are, again, just projections from our mind. And they're empty too. And so if you use them and you understand them with this wisdom, that neither of them come from their own side, then you can use them and you can leverage it to get yourself on the road out of suffering. Because that is why we suffer. And whether it's a partnership that you're suffering in, or whether you have financial suffering, or whether you have health problems, or whether you have whatever, a million other flavors of samsara, that is the root right there. Subject-object duality. And the fact that we believe that things and our partners and this and that are all coming out there, and they're all coming at us. So this is one very simple, very beautiful practice that we can all do. You wake up in the morning, your first thought is, I have the possibility to be this incredible being. In fact, not only that, I already am that being. And you see yourself helping people, you see. Maybe you just lie there in that beautiful place right in the twilight between being fully awake consciousness and when you came out of your slumber, and you can play with it there and you can start to remap your mind. It's a very powerful time to do it, actually. And then as much as you can recall it throughout the day is very beautiful and very powerful for you. It will help you a lot, I think, to think like that. And so hopefully that gives a little bit of a taste of Nagyal. Did you have something about Nagyal?
Maybe.
Maybe?
We'll do one more flavor, one more principle, and then we'll have a little break, okay? Can we have a little break? So, Nagyal. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I have one more thing to say about that. Rapping and rappers are so all over Nagyal. And for those of you that like or have heard a lot of rap music, I mean, from what I've heard, it's unbelievable. They just have this thing. They're like, I am the MFing bomb. I am it, baby. Like, you can't touch me. I am hot. I'm already there, and they've got like this wild jewelry on. And, the guys have got like these like $100,000 worth of jewelry on and stuff. And, really. Take your cue from that. But again, it doesn't have to be so much outwardly manifested like that. It's a feeling in your heart, okay? I think at its core. So, but it's a nice thing to think about.
And what it does is it produces this very interesting effect of changing the hue of your whole world. When you imagine yourself like that, then the whole world and everybody and everything in it appears more and more and more to approach, what you could call divine, right? And I'm always saying to my friend Lada here, she's always saying, oh God, my daughter this and my son that and stuff like that, right? And And I think, in my mind, when she says that, yeah, I know what you mean. You know, I have that too. You know, my sister this and my mother that and everything. And what I think when I've done my little shtick in the morning, you know, like I'm really hot. What I think is I'm really hot and that's great and I feel really, really good and that's wonderful. But how's my world looking? Because that's the acid test, okay? So if you do this practice really, really well and really purely and with great dedication, then you will see your world change. You will. And if you're not seeing your world change, then that's your report card, see? So your report card of how your I'm the bomb practice is going is how your world is looking. And when the people in your world are looking very, very blissful and angelic, then your I'm the bomb practice is, you got a star, a great big star, 100%. And if in your world people are looking a little bit, you know, if there's pain or there's suffering, you see people who are sick, you see people who are, you know, dying, then you've got a little work to do on your practice. Because when you, and it goes back to the understand section too, you know, it's that when you have these thoughts of being of service to your partner or to anybody in your life, and when you have thoughts that you are a being who can do that, you are a being who can do that, you are a being who does do that, those thoughts are creating the pranic concentration and the pranic frequency that make it so. And that's what they're talking about in Hatha Yoga Pradipika texts like that, when they say you can transmute the elemental structure of you. The elemental structure of your body and of your mind, you can transform those elements. That's what they're talking about, you see? So when you practice putting your mind pattern into a certain thing, it's like anything. It's like tennis, it's like piano, it's like anything. When you do something a certain number of times, and generally numbers around 3,500, you get good at it. So when you do this I'm the bomb practice, and you do it well, then you start acting that way. And as you start acting that way, your world starts looking that way. So just know that whatever is going on in your world is like a perfect report card. And then you might even start to wonder, you know, who it is out there that is so kindly showing you what you need to get a perfect score on your report card, right? So then, moving into the third principle, indestructible. Indestructible. The third principle says, get a real method to find them. Get a real method to find them. Get a real method to find who? Get a real method to find the partner of your dreams and keep the bliss with them forever, right? So again, from the Yoga Sutra, the verse reads, we must become as gardeners, and there will come a time when you are no longer tortured by the lie of two bad choices. Shall I dump him now, or shall I wait till the end of the retreat, you know? Or shall I, like, do the Australia trip with him first, you know? Maybe I should do the Australia trip with him first, right? I mean, how horrible to, you know, like, 2 bad choices, 3 bad choices, you know, 4 bad choices, just multiple bad, useless choices that produce no good marks on my report card at all. My report card. So the real method to find them is the method that you've got to glue yourself to. The real method, the indestructible method. What is the indestructible method to find them? The indestructible method to find them is never to separate yourself from this way of the Lord, you know. You never separate yourself. You never allow anything to come between you and your God. Okay? You and your God. Whether that God is the first 6 months of your relationship, somehow you know the bliss. What's causing that bliss? What are you doing in that time? Maybe God is the I'm the bomb practice that you do in the morning. Never, ever, ever separate yourself from that. This is indestructible method. Hold on to this method. Never allow yourself to become separated from the things that work, and make your report card a bright and shining star. Because this is how we get to garden. This is how we get to plant the seeds. This is the only way that we can use methods that really, really work to bring us bliss. And you know, there are many different methods which we will talk about that will find you a partner, and they will help you to keep your partner, and they will help you to stay happy with your partner, because this is the progression of this particular course, you know. How do I find someone? And once I find them, how do I keep them so that we're not doing the dumper dumpy, you know, lie, you know, to ourselves. And then how do I stay happy with them? Because, you know, you might find them and you might keep them, and then, you know, eventually it becomes like a really convenient situation, and there's like this, the two income stream, you know, and then you've like bought the house, you know, and then you have a couple of kids or something like that, and then it's like, well, you know, am I really happy? Well, it doesn't really matter, because, you know, we've got this thing going on and it's convenient, you know, and I can't reach the light bulbs and like whatever, you know what I mean? And so then it becomes like a relationship which is sort of, it goes back to being mundane, and everybody's lost, you know, the bomb. Everybody's lost the bomb. And that's not what we're talking about either. That's not what we're talking about. Because then you have to somehow stay happy with each other. Genuinely happy, right? Like joyfully, genuinely happy. You wake up in the morning and you're like, you know. Every morning, like, yay! You know, somehow the karma lasted the night, you know? Oh, there it is. That's the trick, isn't it? Somehow the karma lasted the night. That is the way it is. Somehow the karma lasted the night. You know, as long as you're living on that somehow the karma lasted the night tightrope, right? As long as you're living on that tightrope, the karma won't last. It's not somehow the karma lasted the night, it's how did the karma last the night? How did the karma last the night? Because if you can't figure that out, if we don't figure that out, it's not. The rope is going to... The rope is going to snap. The rope is going to snap. And the karma ain't going to last the night. So you have to find a real method, and you have to stay, it has to be indestructible, and you have to hold to it. Let's have a break. Let's have a little break. So why don't you mill, you know, like M-I-L-L, mill. And do we want to... We'll have a little bathroom break and stuff like that, and maybe only, not too long, right? 5-10 minutes? Yeah. What's this? Are you?
Okay. You ready?
No, I actually can't talk. Not today. You know what I mean? It's very restless.
Hi, sweetie. How are you doing? Good. How are you? Put your water jug
What's happened?
Yeah, what's happened?
The meltdown. Well, that's even worse. Yeah. And then there's a 12
She just claims to be the incarnation of the Divine Mother.
Yeah.
I don't know how true it is, but I went to a darshan and it helps me heal traumas, not totally, but it helps a lot. It helps so much that I noticed. I didn't notice the difference when I was there. But after I left at night, then I started noticing that my mind is somewhat cleared up. Because the reason is that usually I believe in it.
I know the mom is.
It's all actually sensible.
It is turned I'm not talking.
So I am doing CCR 12, but I can't do
Can you watch it on Ustream? I don't know.
Well, that's the ticket right there. If you can maintain that high level of extraordinary.
Are you saying that? You say yes, that sounds nice. And I'll say, wow, I think I got it wrong.
Yeah, great. Well, when you're on the practice, I did virtual
So that works.
I'll take you Oh, you are?
I mean, we're just as interested in I don't know. You just went. Let's go. You email me the address. Okay. And I'll pick you up. Don't worry about where I get. I think we're ready to share. And do you want to talk to me? No,
What's your name again? Do you know Pratt?
What? You guys didn't know each other?
Yeah, it's
You're just kidding?
we're putting on the costume of divine Christ.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I put the O up? I guess so. Yeah, yours is
Is it?
To be honest.
Don't play with
So what are you supposed to do? Hello? No?
Do your pipe routine.
The alcohol. Okay. All set? Oh, wait a second. What's my verse here? Oh. Okay. So here we go. We'll just try to get this wrapped up pretty quick. Fourth principle, create the causes for them to come. So this is from the prayer of the Angel of Diamond, written in around 500 years ago in Tibet. Thank you. By the power of the kindness of all pure beings, by the power of the truth of this path of wisdom, by the power of my wish to help every living being, may I quickly see the face of the smiling lover from heaven. So, O here now stands for others. Okay, So what we're talking about, or other, we're talking about what is the causes, if you don't have a partner, what is the causes to get a partner, right? And that's a very relevant question for people. And basically other, you know, how am I doing with my other half, or if I have a partner, or how am I going to get a partner, and others, plural, all sort of tie in together in that others are the key to getting what you would wish to have in terms of a partner. Okay, whether it's an existing partner that you have and you'd just like to maybe upgrade them a little bit, or you know, you can like pull out your visa and do that thing, or whether you're trying to actually find a partner and have a relationship, or anything in between that, then others and taking care of others and considering others is really the true cause for those things to happen, whether you're doing the upgrade thing or whether you're trying to find a partner, okay? Because really underlying that is what one of our main teachers calls kindness, okay? Being kind to other people. And you could really say that that is the thing that underpins everything else. It's so hard for us as human beings to really do that with an unselfish motivation, you see. To truly be kind to other people because you see their pain and you feel their suffering and you want to help them is very rare, I think, in this realm of desire. It's very rare. And why is it that it provides the foundation or the upward momentum or energy so that it then enables you to either upgrade your partner or find a partner? Okay? What is it about kindness that at its core enables that to happen? Because truly, if you can get to that place, then it doesn't really matter what you do to upgrade or find your partner, it's going to work, is the way that the system works. If you've put the karma in place, you know, whether you want to go and find your partner, you know, at the nightclub, or whether you think that you want to go find them, you know, on the internet, or whether you go and serve at a village in Africa or India or something, and suddenly you bump into the love of your life there while you're busy serving the world, it doesn't really matter. If you've got this underlying momentum and energy or karma underneath all of those actions, then it will ripen and manifest for you, you see. So why? Because when you're engaged in helping other people in virtuous activity, and you're trying to be kind to them, and you're trying to help them and assist them in whatever way, shape or form that takes, what happens is that there's a what we call like an upward spiral of energy or momentum or karma that comes from that, because one of the laws of karma is that it increases exponentially, right, over a period of time. So the more people that you can consider, the more people that you can be kind to, the more people that you help and don't hurt, the more upward energy and momentum and spiraling of good virtuous karma you're going to accrue. And then whatsoever you do actually doesn't matter, as we've just said. And it could, you know, it doesn't really matter because you have this karmic momentum that you're riding from all of your virtue. And then you can apply that to virtually anything. I mean, it doesn't have to be partnerships. We're not limited. This is what we're talking about right now. But, you know, I mean, one of our teachers talks about how you can use that to make money, how you can do that to attain better health if you're having health problems, how you can attain whatever you want, as long as you have this foundational platform of kindness, you see. So when that's what we're really talking about here. And you know, I think that really it's so easy to sit there and talk about it and to say, yeah, just help others and be kind to others, but also that's a lifetime practice. To be honest, I feel like I have so much room personally to work in that area to try to be kinder to people than I have been. And I would guess that might be the case for a lot of people if we closely look at it, you know, because of our side channels, because of the hard wiring, because of the grasping to subject and object and the duality. It's such an upward battle for us to get our minds off of our own case for a second and to truly try to think about helping other people. But it is, you know, when we came here a few weeks ago and gave a little blab about retreat for a minute, you know, I remember saying one of the things that I realized in retreat was, you know, all the big problems in my life, all the major upheavals in my life, I could pinpoint directly, or I was able to go back and trace exactly that it was because I was grasping and holding so tightly to what I wanted in multiple different scenarios and situations. It was so all about me. And, you know, that's a very hard pattern to break in a person's life. It's a very hard thing to do. It can be done. It can be done, and you can use the things and the people and the practices, and everything can be turned and twisted and made to work for you on this path. There isn't anything that can't be used, you see. But again, underlying all that is kindness. You're not going to be able to have amazing experiences, and none of these practices are really going to work really if you're not kind to people. It's so simple, you know. And it also okay, so maybe we're not running around shooting people and stuff like that. I mean, you know, but hopefully we're not, right? But when we talk about kindness, I think it gets very subtle, especially for people who are on a path and making a great effort to try to be kind to people, and then, you know, you're wondering, well, you know, why isn't this working, or it's kind of working but not quite, or something like that. I think that you need to get very, very subtle, and you need to be able to sit there and think and extrapolate out from where you're having a problem and start working it out in your mind and making extrapolations and playing with it. Meditation is a great place to do this. Okay, you know, I'm having a problem with this such and such a thing in my life. You know, and I've been doing this and that to counteract it, but, you know, and it's kind of working, but it's not quite the result that I'm after. What do I need to do to tweak it or to fine tune it a little bit? And that is a process, and that is a practice, and truly, only you can really say at the end of the day what it is that you need to do. Because why? Because it's coming from your heart and mind, and that there, right there, is your clue. Okay, only you can say, because it's coming from you. So you need to figure it out, and that takes honesty, and it takes courage. You know, and it takes diligence to sit there day in and day out for years, and maybe decades, and maybe a lifetime, to sit there and to look at those things in your heart about who am I and how have I treated other people in the past? How am I doing right now? Where is my mind at compared to my actions and the way that I appear to the world? You know, am I doing one thing but thinking another thing? You see? Am I, what's that expression? Am I walking the
talk?
Walking the talk? Great, thank you. I remember you.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
So, yeah, am I really walking the talk, or am I just doing like lip service to this stuff? These practices work, and they work as long as you do them. Right? I mean, that's all I can really say. You gotta actually do them. And there's a point in retreat where you figure that out, where you're like, you've sat around for a while and, nothing's happening and nobody's coming by, and you're like, oh yeah, there's that thing called practice. That's right. Maybe I should do some, No, but I mean, it's true. And so anyway, consider others as much as you can, and just try to be kind to people. Help them, don't hurt them. The Dalai Lama calls it enlightened self-interest. Someone said to him one day, he was giving this talk, and they're like, well, isn't that really self-interested? And he said, yes, it's enlightened self-interest, because it's good business, right? I mean, mathematically, it's great business. You get to help people or hopefully help them and not hurt them. And then by that virtue, good things happen for them, and then you get some kind of karma from that, increases, and you both get on an upward spiral, and then it keeps going like that, you see. It's like one of those multi-level marketing things, or something like that, right? And just throw in a few dump trucks along the way, and you're almost there. So, that is others.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It is.
One more. The last letter will fill it all in.
Hey.
Nirmanakaya.
Ooh.
Nirmanakaya. To understand Nagyal indestructibly is to serve others in our Nirmanakaya. Close your eyes and say it. Say it over and over and over and over and over. What's a Nirmanakaya? Anyone?
Kaya's body. Is Nirmal pure?
Good, nice guess. Nirmanakaya, emanation bodies of a Buddha. The emanation bodies of a Buddha. So, what Roger is saying about just be kind to others it is really good business, because to truly know the causes, to truly see directly into the causes of everything that you want to have happen, takes Buddhahood, frankly. These things are very, very deeply hidden, and you can't actually know because of your own grasping to yourself, which is what Roger was just talking about. And because of this, and it becomes very subtle, the ways in which we do grasp to ourselves, and it can look really good, and you can be really developed in your practice of kindness, and you can be really developed in your practice of the paths of karma, and you might even have done a 3-year retreat or sat for 8 hours without moving a single hair in meditation, and none of that matters, and none of that is the goal. Doesn't matter at all. If you can't hold your awareness on being kind, it doesn't matter. You haven't done yourself or anybody else a whit of good. So it is the ability to hold your awareness that's crucial. To hold your awareness on what's going on and what you're doing. And we can't do that ultimately until we are Buddhas. Okay? But doing it creates the causes to be able to do it. So doing it on an ongoing basis creates the causes. So, that's why our Lama always says, just be kind to others. To try to explain every little cause of every little result you're looking for, and doing the 4 paths of karma for this thing and the 3 columns for something else is good. It's good, and it makes your mind think about it, and it increases your awareness level of how you operate in your world. But, at the end of the day, you got to be a Buddha before you actually can figure it out. So then how do you figure it out so you can become a Buddha, right? So he always says, just be kind. And it really is very, very good business just to be kind. Because it's by the power of the kindness of all pure beings. It's by the power of the truth of this path of wisdom. It's by the power of my wish to help every living being that I get to quickly see the face of the smiling lover from heaven. And the smiling lover from heaven, isn't just the lover across the room in the Longhorn, It's not just the lover off the internet. It's the smiling face of the lover from heaven. It's the ultimate bliss. Maybe you'll see it in the eyes of your partner. You probably will see it in the eyes of your partner. And you will see it in the eyes of every being in your universe. Every single one. It just doesn't stop with your partner. So hold that thought, okay? Hold that thought. Yes, it's very nice to have a partner. It is. And it's nice to be happy with a partner. It is. And you should want that. And you should create the causes for that. But at the end of the day, it's that you want to see that what you want is a stream of crystal moonlight that begins to flow. Wife of the man of peace, and he embraces her. She fills the sun ray channel, the opening along the spine, with matchless divine nectar. So when all of that prana gets into the central channel and the Amrit starts to flow down, Sushumna from the top, then you get to see the face of that smiling lover from heaven. Everywhere you look, and that's the biggest bang union you could ever imagine. There ain't no bigger bang union than that. There ain't no bigger bang union than that. That's like the ultimate union. So the practice of union, the spiritual partner practice of union, the practice of yoga, right? To unite. It really is to understand Nagyo indestructibly, so you can serve others from your Nimarnakaya, from your emanation body that spontaneously emanates whatever is needed to serve the needs of any being. And maybe that being is your partner trashing you. Maybe that being is your partner dumping you one more time. Maybe that being is, who knows, could be anything. But once you understand this concept of uniting yourself with the real method to get bliss and to keep bliss, then that's how you'll be operating from that Nirmanakaya. There's nothing else to do, right? What do you want to do? Watch Doc Martin? I kind of did, but that's okay. Don't you know what Doc Martin is? You don't know what Doc Martin is? When we came out of retreat, we don't have TV, but when we finished retreat, we discovered this thing called Netflix. We got really excited about it. We hadn't seen a movie for actually a lot longer than 3 years, because we didn't go to many movies before retreat. And so we found this thing called Netflix, and one of the first things we watched was an episode of Doc Martin, which is just a wonderful show. It's a wonderful show, and it was on at 9. But like, what would you rather be doing? Right? Than talking about the ultimate union and thinking about what that might be like and how we can achieve that. And a partner is a great place to start. And it's a natural place to start. And we're hardwired to do it, you know, through this partner, the practice of a partner. And the Hatha Yoga Pradipika is actually a text which is leading up to that kind of ultimate practice of union. That's really all that we wanted to say, I think, isn't it? Okay. Roger's going to do a little wrap up.
I think it's also, you know, so that's the beautiful, that's not right. Oh, right. That's the ultimate end goal, right? What Lamrivon has just taken you through, and it's exquisite. It's really exquisite, and it is the goal of all of the practices. In the meantime, also, you know, as she also alluded to, you know, people want to have and, you know, do this practice with their partners, right, at the same time, and so like this coming together of energy. There's a few things that I think are very useful to consider as you do that with your partner, as you actually physically engage with your partner, and that will help you and protect you, because that's a very high risk time karmically, and as L.Y. alluded to earlier tonight, people tend to grasp very, very hard to me and I when it comes to sexual activity and what is happening with that, especially at that crucial point. So here's a couple of quick pointers about that will help you and protect you if you're engaging in that kind of activity in that kind of a way with your partner, okay? The first one is, actually we've already discussed it, is Nagyal. Keep your Nagyal and extend it into that practice with your partner, okay? Don't lose it. That's an especially good time to hold Nagyal for you and your partner. And then another pointer would be, try to consider other people as hopefully you generate some kind of intense bliss during that time and that practice with them. Try to be giving that away to everybody in the world and wishing that everyone in the whole universe could have that bliss. And finally, turn your mind to the emptiness of that bliss and give that away to everyone too. Put your highest understanding into the fact that this bliss too is empty and it doesn't have any inherent nature of its own, and I'm going to give that understanding away to everyone as well. You see? And those three things will help you and protect you from the normal way that we go about sexual activity, which is this insane grasping to me and mine and hurting other people to get what we want from partners and relationships and sexual gratification and stuff like that. It will really help you karmically, because it's a very high risk time. Because the emotions are very supercharged at that point, especially at that crucial point. And so when an emotion is very heightened, the karma is also very heightened around that emotion, okay? So use those three things. They're simple. Maintain your Nagyal, give away the bliss that you're generating with your partner, and turn your mind to the emptiness of the bliss and give that away to everybody as well. And that will help you greatly. I would also throw in there, make it special and make it fun. Keep it light. Don't be too serious about it, and that will help you keep it very pure and very clean and very simple. And don't get caught up in some mad like shtick, you know, right? Well, but people do, and you know, just make it fun, make it clean, make it special. It's not a normal activity anymore. Remember, like, nothing you do is a normal activity. And all of that combined will help you and protect you with that. Because it happens. In this here realm of desire, it happens, right? And people get together. And so if you hold to that and some of these other things that we're talking about, then hopefully that will help you a little bit. That's all. Did you have something you wanted to say?
So, yeah, we like the acronym thing, you know? Is this an acronym? Is that what that's called? We like it. Works, right? Do you guys remember the VAM teaching? Do you remember the VAM teaching? Were you at the VAM teaching? You were at the VAM. What was it again?
Variety.
Variety,
Abiding.
abiding,
Moderation.
moderation. It was a talk on eating, remember? VAM. So, just one more point about what Roger was just saying about giving away the understanding of the emptiness of the bliss. I don't know. I was thinking to myself, what is that anyway? What's the emptiness of the bliss? Well, our teacher used to always say that every single orgasm, the overhead of an orgasm is millions of acts of kindness. That's expensive karma, right? Millions of acts of kindness for you to experience bliss, that kind of bliss. So understanding that is to understand the emptiness of the bliss. Okay? You didn't get the orgasm the way you thought you did. That's not how you got the orgasm. You got the orgasm from millions of acts of kindness. So hold that kind of recollection of emptiness about all bliss in your life, you know, all bliss in your life, you know. And so that's the episode 1. Finding your partner is episode 1. By the way, Lei is not here, right? But I just wanted to acknowledge that she offered these readings tonight. She wouldn't allow us to pay for them, so they were an offering from her. And it's counterclockwise printing that she probably paid them, because I'm not sure. She might own it, but I don't think she does. So, but anyway, you should try to frequent counterclockwise and give her some business. And then the other thing is that as we move into upcoming episodes of the Keeping the Bliss series, right, we're going to talk about some very specific ways to find, keep, and stay happy with a partner. And I asked Lada, I don't know if you know, but Lada has a doctorate in, what is it? Research medicine, pharmacology. And so she specializes in clinical trials, and this is very exciting because I think it's time that we started to test our methods. I think it's time that we've started to not just design paths of karma. Does everyone know what that is, path of karma, from all the different teachings everyone's been giving? If not, don't worry, because we'll talk about it next time. But it's all very good, you know, to design a path of karma for what you want and become very clear about what you want, and, you know, you lay out your 4 steps and then you do them. But what we really want to know is it working for you? That's right. We want to know, is it working? Do you have a partner? Are you rich? Is it working? That's what we... Are you happy? Are you happy? Are you always happy? Are you keeping the bliss? So I asked her to design this thing because she did clinical trials for a living. That's what she did. I want to subject this path of karma thing to a very, very rigorous clinical test, okay? Because why are we going to do it if it doesn't work, right? Right? There's not much point. So we need to do that. We need to test our methods. We need to look at all the different variables within a path of karma situation. Because you can follow a path of karma all you want, but you can be counteracting one path of karma with some other path of negative karma over here. You can be doing a positive path of karma over here and some negative path of karma, and you don't even understand that this one over here is neutralizing the effects of the positive path of karma that you're trying to do with the left hand and the right hand, and they don't know each what the other is doing here, okay? So it gets pretty subtle, right? We already said it gets pretty subtle. All right? So what's an example of that? Say, oh yeah, I understand why. I understand why my partner cheats on me. It's because that's what I did. And so I probably shouldn't do that anymore. That's good. That's right. You shouldn't. So I designed myself a nice path of karma. But let's say it happens again. And I've been really, really, really dedicated, to this path of karma. What's going on? Oh, so then you have to look in your heart, like Roger was saying. You've got to look extremely deep into your heart. And you have to see, maybe I've been somehow, so I'm trying to find a partner, but every time I find one, they dump me for someone else, okay? Let's say that's my pattern. So I'm trying to find a partner, and I'm creating all the karma, planting all the seeds for it. But then over here somewhere else, I'm really jealous of someone else and their partner. So I'm, busy planting the seeds, and taking care of old people and all like the shtick that, right? Like the party line, right? For finding my partner over here. But on the other hand is like busy being really jealous about, people who were in a happy partnership or something or other. So those two things create a big fat zero, see, in the report card, actually. Right? Okay, so then it gets very subtle. So she's designed this beautiful thing, this clinical trial thing that we're going to use. And that's next time, okay?
Thank you.
Yay,
thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Thank you for coming.
Just to let everyone know, next time is May the 22nd.
Oh yeah, next Thursday.
Thursday at 7:30 to 9:30 here.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Yeah, please come see us if you want to, we haven't met you, and you want to come say hi. We'd love to meet you. And even if we have met you.